So another question we've been asked, Paul, is around kind of the management options. So choosing a great property, great location, looking at short-term lets as the angle, how easy is it to find kind of a management company to
it's property? From our purposes, we'll always have one or two options that we will suggest.
Okay.
I mean, obviously part of what we do is passive investment, so we'll always have suggestions for every part of the purchase process, from brokers to solicitors, etc. They're not affiliated with us. It's just, we know they do quite well in that particular area, whether it's broker for lending on a certain development, solicitor for lending on a certain type of development, or for buying. And we'll do the same with the management company. So our figures will be backed up. We'll do our own research into our own figures, and then we'll back that up with independent companies who will also say, right, okay, we're quite happy to refer people to you. If people choose that option, great. If they don't, that's up to them. There are now plenty of companies out there that do this, and it's not hard to find them at the end of the day. What you do want is, it's one of those, it's like on a normal letting, just because they charge less percentage doesn't mean it's a better service. And they fluctuate between 15 to 20% plus VAT. It's about finding out who they go to. So there's some companies that will just literally put you on booking.com and Airbnb and sort of hope for the best. You can do that yourself if you wanted to. It's the ones that have the inlets to the relocation agents, who've got inlets to direct businesses, who've already got relationships with companies. So one of our developments, presently, got direct relationships with BAE, and even though they won't commit to them solely, because no one's ever going to do that in case they can't provide, they've got a good relationship. So you've got to find out where they go to, what avenues they go to. Like I say, we've got over 40 for our Chester ones. And it's not just making sure you go on the obvious ones, because ultimately as well, the obvious ones, the likes of your OTAs like Airbnb and booking.com, also take more out of your income. They charge a very high commission for supplying you something, whereas what you want, I mean, our aim is, you can never compete with the likes of booking.com in terms of advertising and marketing. Never compete. So for us, if we get one through there, our aim is to convert that person when they come in to come direct to us, because that costs nothing. Whereas it's an 18% commission or whatever it may be, I can't remember off the top of my head, with booking.com. So that's 18% you've saved straight away. And
it's OTAs, you mentioned once or twice. What's the...
You're going to ask me what it is and I can't remember.
Is it online travel agent? I'm trying to think what it kind of might be.
I knew he was going to be asked this as well. It will come. Basically, it's your online.
I think it's online travel agents, but it's the booking platforms like booking.com, Airbnb, TripAdvisor,
home and away, TripAdvisor, those sort of things. But they are, I think the figures were, they're around about 40% of our initial sort of intake, but we convert around about 70% of those to come direct if they come back. And then that's obviously when we save money. So all direct bookings are brilliant, because the management is still the management fee. A management fee will cover all the lettings, etc., all the vetting, managing the cleaning, managing everything. You as a person who's bought, do nothing. We'll arrange the payments to be direct debits, all this sort of thing. Whereas the only other real extra that comes on is the commission that gets charged from the person supplying you that booking. And what you want as a managing company is to make sure that they're going to as many places where that commission is low as possible, because that's a saving. And that's what I'm saying. Your other option on management is obviously doing it yourself, where you don't pay any management fee, just your time. But you've got to be highly committed to it.
It's very hands-on. It takes a long time to...
Or maybe you've got your own team that can do it fine, and I would challenge anyone to, even if it was in their own local place, if you've got 3 good sort of properties that are doing it, that is a full-time job, more than a full-time job. Whereas we have, we've got as a company, we've all got our cleaning team sorted, etc. They just go in, everything's done through CRMs and systems, so we know where everything is at every one time. We know that everything's done, because again, if you've got your own property, and we're not saying don't do it to people, but just realise what's involved with it. if you've got a property and you need to get it clean, but then you've got a problem with another property, and then you've got someone moving into that other property that needs to be clean, but you've gone to the other one, then you've got a bad review, and reviews are everything. And there's, you know, it's like a property's not clean, I can't get in, and you just lost everywhere. So you've got to have, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, but you'll be able to find them. But from our point, we'll always have at least one or two options for you to go. You can then make that call to them, and it comes down to who you want to trust to do it. They'll give you their rates, but trust me, if you're looking at something 15 and 20, I'd always usually take the 20% option, because I believe it'll save you a lot more than 5% down the line.
Yeah, and I think it just comes down to that level of experience and expertise that managing agent has. You touched on before, people can do it themselves. We know plenty of people that self-manage, and it can be a full-time job. It's very intense. It takes a lot of work, but it's also the kind of insight and the expertise that can connect you to those larger companies that can fundamentally make the difference between having a kind of nearly full calendar for the year through to having quite a vacant calendar. Because if you're just relying on the OTAs, the Airbnbs, the bookings.coms, you might not have a full calendar to kind of be booked out of.
The likes of a HSBC of this world aren't going to go to a Paul Winder who's got one property and say, can I book your apartment, when you've got absolutely no track record. You know, they're very rarely, they'll go through a third party. And that third party, so just to name what would be something like Situ. I don't think you can register as part of the general public. You have to think, and they will literally work with you when they're good and ready, when they feel that the reviews are good enough, or they've had enough good reviews of their own. And then once you get into that sort of market, then you're sort of doing very well, because your competition is going down all the time for your better pins. So we're in that position. Well, obviously after 5 years, we are in that position now where we'll get calls, because you'll also find as well that you'll have 3 different companies like that, and they'll all make the same call with the same booking. You know, because that person at that company, let's use HSBC for example again, is literally their job is to find somewhere to stay. So they'll go to all their relocation agents go out to all theirs, and then it's whoever comes back generally, you know, with the best option. Because the other thing as well is that you get very little time. You talk about predictions on bookings. We'll work on 70%, but we have no idea when that 70% is. You know, you get literally probably 2 days notice on some. So then it's working out the bookings, who can stop where, because if someone wants a 2-month stay, but you've got Joe Bloggs stopping for 2 days in the middle of 2 months in what they want, then you've either got to move Joe Bloggs, or you've lost a 2-month booking because of 1-2 day stay. So all that logistic gets involved with it as well, you know, and having, we always want more in one particular location. We need that variation around apartments, because we'll also say to people, do you want to focus on long terms, or do you want to focus on something shorter? So again, the logistics behind it are massive, but from your choice, it's always your choice. Everything about what you buy is your choice. You know, who you use, who you get your finance through, whose list you use, who you use your managing agent. That's the most important. It is your property. All we're going to try and do is say, through our knowledge and expertise, we think these are going to be a good fit for you.
And especially as the industry starts to mature, it's good to see that there is managing options, choices that fundamentally an investor can choose from, option A, B, or C when it comes to the
I think there'll be more local estate agents that'll get into it as well. You know, based I do believe that they see that as a market now, and you know, from when we talked 4 years ago, the market moved on massively, and probably if we talk again in 4 years, it'll be moved on massively again. I think the most important thing is I think it's going to be on an upward curve, not a downward curve. So I think that's the positive aspect of it.
Okay, perfect.